In the vibrant village of flavors, where every corner once burst with color, and every bite of food sang with joy, a strange quiet has fallen. The village is fading, its brilliant hues turning to dull gray, and the food, it's become tasteless. It all started when the four elders, the very pillars of this flavorful world, had a terrible falling out. Their friendship shattered, and with it, the magic of the village. Now, a prophecy looms. If they don't reconcile, the gray silence will consume everything, forever. But hope isn't lost. It rests on the shoulders of four inseparable friends. First, there's Noor, the heart of the oven. She's a brilliant baker, whose pastries could once spark pure happiness, but lately, her magic touch seems to have vanished. Then, there's Maya, the spice alchemist, brave and bold, who knows the secret of every herb, and can find courage in the most unexpected places. Sophie, the visual dreamer, is our artist. She can transform any dish into a masterpiece, painting with frostings, and sculpting with fruits. And finally, there's Zara, the navigator. She may not be a cook, but with her trusty maps and survival smarts, she can lead them through any danger. One evening, as the gray mist crept closer to the village square, the four friends were huddled in Noor's bakery, trying to bake a cake that tasted of anything at all. Suddenly, a faint light pulsed from a forgotten shelf. They discovered an ancient, glowing cookbook. As they opened it, shimmering words appeared, forming the recipe of reconnection. It was a legendary dish, said to heal any rift. But it required 3 mythical ingredients, each one representing a step toward forgiveness. Their mission was clear. They had to save their home. Their first destination was the Crystal Peaks, home to the sugar of sweet memories. Zara unfurled her map, her finger tracing a treacherous path up the glittering mountainside. The peaks were beautiful, but perilous, with winds that whispered old arguments, and slippery slopes that tested their footing. Sophie used her artistic eye to spot a safe path, seeing patterns in the ice that others would miss. Maya, with her knowledge of mountain herbs, brewed a special tea that kept them warm and focused against the biting cold. As they climbed higher, the air thinned, and Noor began to doubt herself. How could she, who had lost her baking magic, help create this powerful recipe? They finally reached the summit, a plateau of shimmering crystals. In the center, a single massive crystal pulsed with a gentle light, containing the sugar of sweet memories. But as they approached, the crystal's light flickered, and a wall of ice shot up, blocking their path. Etched into the ice were riddles, each one a forgotten happy memory from the elders' past. They had to solve them to get the sugar. Working together, piecing together old village stories, and forgotten festival details, they solved each riddle. The ice wall melted, revealing the glowing sugar. Noor carefully scooped it into a bag, its sweetness already bringing a faint blush of color back to her cheeks. But as they turned to leave, a shadow fell over the peak. They looked down at the village, and saw the magical hourglass in the square. The sand was falling faster than before. Their time was running out. Next, they journeyed to the echoing caves to find the salt of sincere tears. These caves weren't just dark, they were a maze of tunnels, where every sound, every whisper of doubt, was amplified 1,000 times. Zara's maps were useless in the shifting darkness. They had to rely on their other senses. The whispers of the cave preyed on their insecurities. "You're not brave enough," it hissed at Maya. "Your art is just a distraction," it murmured to Sophie. The voices grew louder, threatening to tear their friendship apart. It was Maya who fought back. Remembering a story her grandmother told her, she used a special fragrant herb to create a calming smoke that quieted the negative echoes. She urged her friends to focus on their trust in one another. Deeper inside, they found a cavern with an underground lake, its water glowing with a soft, sad light. This was the source of the salt of sincere tears. To collect it, one of them had to offer a memory of a sincere apology. Nur stepped forward, her voice trembling. She confessed her fear that she had lost her purpose, her magic, and apologized to her friends for doubting their quest. As a single heartfelt tear fell from her eye and touched the water, the lake shimmered brightly. A perfect, glowing salt crystal rose to the surface. Sophie carefully collected it, its gentle warmth a stark contrast to the cave's cold air. But as they turned to leave, the ground rumbled. A section of the cave collapsed behind them, sealing their exit. Were they trapped forever? Thinking fast, Zara spotted a faint stream of air coming from a tiny crevice. It was too small to crawl through, but it gave her an idea. She had them follow the airflow, navigating a series of tight, claustrophobic tunnels. It was a terrifying close call, but they finally emerged back into the open air, gasping for breath. The hourglass in the village below now had only a few handfuls of sand left. The gray was almost at the center of the village. One ingredient remained, the fire of forgiveness, hidden in the heart of the Whispering Woods, and guarded by a legendary spirit. The Whispering Woods was an ancient, enchanted forest, where the trees themselves held the memories of the land. As they ventured in, the trees whispered stories of the elders' argument, showing them visions of the pride and misunderstanding that caused the rift. It was heartbreaking to watch. They soon reached a clearing, where a magnificent, ancient tree stood. As they approached, a spirit made of leaves and light emerged from its trunk. This was the guardian. The spirit declared that to earn the fire of forgiveness, they must face a challenge. They had to cook a dish that could prove they understood the true meaning of friendship. They had no recipe, no kitchen, just the ingredients they carried, and the forest around them. The pressure was immense. The spirit watched, its gaze unblinking. Noor, finding her confidence again, took the lead. She realized this wasn't about a fancy recipe, it was about creating something together. Sophie found edible flowers and colorful berries to decorate. Maya foraged for aromatic roots that would create a comforting scent. Noor used a clever technique with heated stones to bake a simple, rustic bread, infusing it with the sugar of sweet memories. As a final touch, Sophie sprinkled the salt of sincere tears over the top. The spirit tasted their creation. A warm smile spread across its leafy face. It presented them with a single, eternal flame burning on a branch, the fire of forgiveness. With all three ingredients, they raced back to the village. The last grain of sand in the hourglass was about to fall. The gray silence was creeping into the kitchen, draining the color from the walls. The four elders sat in the town square, their faces blank, unable to recognize each other. It was a chaotic, high-stakes race against time. Noor worked with a newfound fire, her hands moving with purpose. Maya ground the spices. Sophie arranged the presentation. And Zara kept the encroaching gray mist at bay with the light from the fire of forgiveness. They were a perfect team. They combined the sugar of sweet memories, the salt of sincere tears, and the warmth from the fire of forgiveness into a simple, beautiful soup. It wasn't a complex dish. It was humble, warm, and honest. They rushed it out to the elders, just as the last grain of sand fell. The world held its breath. They served the soup. Each elder took a spoonful. At first, nothing happened. Then, a flicker of recognition sparked in their eyes. A memory, then another. A tear of regret, then a soft smile. The taste of sweet memories, the saltiness of sincere regret, and the warmth of forgiveness worked their magic. The colors rushed back into the village, in a brilliant, joyful wave. The air filled with the scent of spices and fresh bread. The village of flavors was saved. But here's the twist, the secret that the glowing cookbook never mentioned. The recipe of reconnection wasn't just about the mythical ingredients. The true secret ingredient was the friendship of the four girls who refused to give up. Their courage, their trust, and their love for each other was the real magic that healed their home. They learned that forgiveness isn't a destination, it's a journey you take together. And in the village of flavors, that was the most delicious lesson of all.